Hello students, welcome to my class. I, Dr. Swati Pandya, welcomes you. Today we will start with chapter 1, Reproduction in Organism. Today's session, it is continuation of chapter 1. Last time we have learned about detail of asexual reproduction. Today we will start events in sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is attained after maturity in every organisms. It is a very important process. Sexual reproduction is characterized by fertilization of male and female gametes, which is also known as fusion of gametes, and it will result into formation of zygote and embryogenesis. For our convenience, actually this is a continuous process, but for our convenience, we have defined these events into 3 major steps. Namely, first, pre-fertilization event, second, fertilization event, and lastly, post-fertilization events. The name indicates us the process which occur before fertilization, they are included in pre-fertilization events. And the events which are included after fertilization, they are in post-fertilization events. So we can categorize the main event is fertilization. Some steps they are included before it and some other after it. Let us start the discussion of pre-fertilization events in detail. We can define it as it will include all the events of sexual reproduction which occur prior to fusion of gametes. Fusion of gamete is known as fertilization. So all the events which occur just before fusion of gametes, they are included in pre-fertilization events. Majorly, these are again divided into 2 steps. So these are 2 sub-steps, two important events in pre-fertilization events. They are gametogenesis and second, gamete transfer. Gametogenesis, it refers to the process of formation of 2 types of gametes, male and female. Actually, this is also comprising of 2 words, gamete and genesis. Gamete, we all know, male and female gametes, and genesis means formation. So formation of 2 types of gametes are included in gametogenesis. Gamete transfer, after formation of gametes, which are male and female gametes, actually they are physically brought together to facilitate fertilization event. So these 2 we will learn in detail. Male and female gametes, they are considered as 2 types of gametes. But all the living organisms, their physiology is different, their types of gametes are different. Here are some few examples. An algae known as Cladophora, which is indicated in figure A, it comprises of 2 gametes, but both are very, very similar. That is why they are considered as isogametes. Iso means similar, and gametes, if the gametes they are similar, they are known as isogametes. They are also known as homogametes. Then diagram B and C, it indicates heterogametes. Hetero means dissimilar. In algae, another algae known as ficus, and even in human being and other higher category of organisms, they produce 2 dissimilar type of gametes. These dissimilar gametes, they are morphologically different, and you can easily observe in the diagrams. So heterogametes of ficus as well as heterogametes of human beings, they are defined here. Sometimes the male gametes, they are known as anthrazoid or sperm, and female gametes are known as egg or ovum as per the organism. So these are different terms which are used. Students, these terms which are highlighted, they are very important to learn, and sometimes they are helpful in the exam to recall. So I have highlighted some of the terms which are very important to learn. So please refer it again and again and revise them. Now let us see some of the important terms. Actually, these terms, they are important to remember. It will show the sexuality in organism. Now certain plants, certain animals, few of the examples we will discuss, and related terms we will discuss. Plants may have both male and female reproductive structures in same plant sometimes. So they are known as bisexual plants. When these male and female reproductive structures, they are present on the different plants, they are known as unisexual condition. For example, in several fungi and some plants, the term such as monoecious is used, which is to denote bisexual condition. Bi means two. So when the two sexuality conditions, they are different, the term is used bisexual condition. And in some other organisms, dioecious condition is seen, which described unisexual condition. Unisexual condition is actually more advanced type. In flowering plants, unisexual male flower if present, it is denoted as staminate. We all know stamen which is used for male reproductive structure in flower. You have learned earlier in your 10th standard. So the reference can be taken from there. Similarly, if the female flower is present, it is pistillate, which bears only pistil. Pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower. So we all know these terms. So if male flower is present, it is staminate, and female flower is present, it is pistillate. The examples in bisexual and unisexual flowers, these structures are present. Now let us see some of the examples from animals. If we see the sexuality in organisms related to animals, as well as some of the examples of plants are also given. Let's see. Flowering plants, both male and female flowers may be present on the same individual. So monoecious word is used. Or if the male and female flowers, they are present on the separate individuals, the dioecious word is used. In previous slide, we have referred. Some examples, they are quoted here. So students, you have to learn these examples. These few little things, they help in your exams to score, both in competitive exam as well as in 1 mark question, that is MCQs. The examples are monoecious plants, cucurbita and coconut. Dioecious plant, papaya and date palm. I hope if you are keen to learn from your surrounding, these examples can be easily observed. Similarly, some few diagrams are given in this slide, and the detailed structure of these animals you have learned in your 11th standard. These three terms are given: unisexual, bisexual and hermaphrodites. Let us discuss about unisexual. Unisexual term, it indicates a single reproductive structure animal or organism. Hermaphrodites, the best example given is earthworm. Here in diagrams, A diagram is showing earthworm, and here both testes and ovaries. Testes are indicative of male reproductive organ and ovary indicates the female reproductive part. So both the parts, both the reproductive structures, they are found in the same animal, and it is considered as hermaphrodite. Some other examples of hermaphrodites are also sponge, tapeworm, leech, etc. Cockroach, here you observe male and female cockroaches are different. Even you can differentiate between both by externally viewing them. Some special structures they are found in male cockroach which differentiate it with female. Female thallus and male thallus they are shown. Actually, this is the example from bryophyte, which is Rixia. And stamen and carpels they are found in the same flower. So it is a angiospermic plant which shows both the structures in the same flower. So it is a bisexual flower, and these are unisexual plants which are showing female thallus and male thallus separately. Now let us see about some another important terms which are helpful further understand about these things. Haploid, diploid condition. These terms they are important for other chapters also, and chapter 2 and chapter 3 will also include these terms. So you better understand. If you don't remember, I will make you recall these terms: haploid condition and diploid condition. When one set of chromosomes they are present in a cell, this condition is known as haploid condition. And when the pairing of chromosome is observed, that is diploid condition. Normal condition is diploid. And during gamete formation, when the gametes they are produced, gametes are produced in the reproductive cells. So when gametes are produced, the haploid condition is attained. So several organisms belonging to Monera, fungi, algae and bryophytes, they have haploid plant body. You must recall alternation of generation. So we are not going into the detail about alternation of generation, but you have learned earlier in your 11th standard about it. So haploid condition and diploid condition they are observed there. Gametophyte and sporophyte condition. In other higher organisms like pteridophyte, gymnosperms and angiosperms, and most of the animals including humans also, the parental body is diploid. So these conditions are necessary to recall. Now in diploid organisms, specialized cells called meiocytes. Meiocytes are gamete mother cells from where the gametes they are produced, which undergo meiosis. At the end of meiosis, only one set of chromosome gets incorporated into each gamete. That means the chromosome number it becomes half. One of the exercise related to this topic, it is given in table number 1.1. Let us discuss about it. You may refer this table from your textbook. Here chromosomes number in meiocytes which are diploid, that is 2n number of chromosomes, and gametes of some of the organisms they are given. That is, gametes are having haploid n number of chromosomes. One example is given here. In human being, we all know in total 46 number of chromosomes are there. But in gametes, it becomes half, that is 23. In housefly, 2n number of chromosome is denoted by 12. And n number of chromosomes, what will be the n number of chromosomes? The blank is given. So like this, you have to fill up the table. So this activity will help you to learn haploid and diploid condition. Now another important event of pre-fertilization event is gamete transfer. After formation of gametes, its transfer is very important because the male and female gametes, they has to be brought together. Physically they are together, and then only they can facilitate the important event fertilization. So male and female gamete must be brought together for fertilization. This is done through transfer of gamete. In majority of organism, male gamete is motile, that is movable, and female gamete is stationary or static. So mostly the male gamete, it comes towards female gamete for fertilization. There is a need for a medium through which male gametes move. For example, in simple plants like algae, bryophyte, pteridophytes, water plays an important medium for male gamete transfer. In seed-bearing plants, pollen grains are the carrier of male gametes. You might have learned about pollination. So pollination is transfer of pollen from one plant to another. And here the ovules have the egg. So pollen grains produced in anthers are therefore have to be transferred to stigma before it can lead to fertilization. So this event is important event which is included in gamete transfer. A specialized event called pollination facilitates this transfer of pollen grain from the pollen sacs to the stigma of female reproductive part. Pollen grains germinate on the stigma and the pollen tubes carrying the male gametes reach the ovule as well as discharge the male gametes near the egg. This whole process in detail we will learn in next chapter, chapter number 2. Actually, this chapter 1 is basically the introductory chapter for chapter 2 and chapter 3. So this concept will help you in next 2 chapters. Chapter 2 will be for sexual reproduction in plants and chapter 3 will be sexual reproduction in humans. But basic concept is the same which we are learning here in the chapter number 1. I hope you understood well. If you are having any queries, you can ask me personally and revise all the terms which I have highlighted. Thank you.